Hello, I hope you're well. It's a big day for Phasmophobia. There's been a big announcement and a live brunch update, so I'm going to go over both of them in this video. First of all, for the big announcement, DK the dev has been working on Phasmophobia all by themselves over the last few years, and since the game has launched, all the updates have been done by DK. I'm sure they did not expect the game to get this popular. It now has quite the player base. So he's looking to expand the team. He's going to hire an artist and a programmer to help him work on the game. He's hoping they're going to help start working with him soon on both current content, expanding that, and future content going forward. Honestly, massive respect for DK. Everything he's done for the game so far, all by himself. The amount of updates, the love, the support this game has received over the months is incredible. Really incredible, and massive respect to DK for looking to the future and deciding to expand the team as well. Really excited to see what the team is going to come up with in the future. Fantastic to know that this game is going to receive more support. I can't wait to see what they're going to come up with. So just really exciting in general. Really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. Now for the live branch update. The beta changes have now come over to the live branch. Very quick turnaround. I have been playing around with these changes for the past week, so I will share my thoughts and experiences so far. First of all, we've got a new ghost type, which is the yokai. So the yokai is based on sound. Talking near them will increase their chance of hunting you. Fun fact, the yokai is the only non-freezing ghost that can hunt you above 50% sanity. I've even been hunted in the 70s for my sanity when I've been talking near a yokai, which does catch you off guard. Does make them a little bit easy to spot though, based on the only non-freezing ghost that can hunt you so early, but a very fun ghost regardless, with a very fun power. Their weakness, however, is that they don't hear you very well during hunts. They only hear you within a 1 to 2 meter range. It's very short. The evidence for the yokai is the spirit box, ghost orbs, and ghost writing. Next, we've got the Hantu, the other ghost type that was added with this update. So the Hantu is based on temperature. They move slower in warm temperatures and faster in cold temperatures. So when the breaker is off, they will move faster. So you want to keep the breaker on at all times to keep the building as warm as possible. However, with the Hantu, I have found that even in the coldest temperatures, they really don't move very fast. They only move slightly faster than the player, even at the very coldest temperatures. Likewise, when it's at the very warmest temperatures, I believe the Hantu is actually slower than the player at first, but over time, when it gets line of sight of you, it still speeds up with the new ghost changes in that regard, so it can eventually speed up. But I would love it if the Hantu was a little bit faster in the coldest of the coldest temperatures. I feel like it needs some tweaks to make it more menacing, as it does feel a little bit on the weaker side at the moment. Very cool concept for the ghost though. Love that idea. Maybe just needs a bit of tweaking to make it a bit more menacing. Feels on the weaker side at the moment. So the evidence for the Hantu is fingerprints, ghost orbs, and ghost writing. I finally remember them. Next, we've got 2 new daily challenges: capture a 3-star ghost photo and get a dirty water photo. Dirty water's back, but only as a daily. Don't panic, not optional objective. Still, I would love to see more being done with money going forward, as there's not really anything to spend it on, but maybe that will come in the future. We will see. Next up, they added a way to reset corrupt save files, which was a very rare occurrence. If you have this issue, they prompted you to join the Discord and ask for help there. They've added a profanity filter for user and server names. Please report if your name is not offensive and is being caught by this. I've heard of some issues with quite a lot of names being caught up where they shouldn't have, really. I think it was a little bit oversensitive, but very good change. I know a lot of people were abusing it. If you are having your names being caught, I would advise probably going onto their Discord and asking for support there again. I'll put the link down in the description for you. They've added a sell button in the item store that will give you 50% back of the price. Yeah, decent for those people that have, I guess, splurged out a little bit, bought a little bit too much of some things. So yeah, not bad. Get some money back. Maybe that could be useful going forward if they ever add more uses for money. Because I know at the moment people have just bought hundreds of things because there's nothing else to spend it on. They've added text to show the name of the level below the map in the truck, which is, yeah, great for new people especially. Added a confirmation timer if you change your resolution. And finally, for the new additions, they added a new small house map, which was a complete surprise: Willow Street House. So Willow Street House is very unique. It has no lockers and closets, so Hiding behind furniture was a big emphasis of a previous update, and this is what this map is designed around. Really, really, really love Willow. One of my favourite maps so far. I love hiding behind furniture. It's so much more engaging from a gameplay perspective. I do find lockers and closets a little bit boring, so I do love the shift towards hiding behind furniture. I would love to see more of that going forward. It seems like a very fair map as well, even though it sounds scary at first. There are a lot of decent hiding spots you can hide in. As long as you break line of sight before you get there and you focus on staying quiet, you do actually have a good chance of surviving. And the hunts are just so much more intense hiding behind the furniture. So yes, love Willow. Would love to see more of that type of thing going forward. Now let's go over the changes. So the first one is about smudge sticks. The smudge stick smoking time has been reduced from 15 to 6 seconds to match the ghost delay during a hunt. So this is an interesting change, and maybe one that's not so obvious at first. So DK the dev has kindly shared some information recently that none of us knew before about how smudge sticks worked. So basically, how smudge sticks work, when you light the smudge stick in a 6 meter area around you, it will do a check to see if the ghost is there. And if it is, it will repel them, or if it's not during a hunt, it will prevent the hunt or make them more active. It will basically affect them. While the smudge stick is smoking and you're moving, it shouldn't have any effect on the ghost. But when the smudge stick burns out, again, it will do that same 6 meter area check around you and apply the same effects to the ghost if they're in that area. So that's how they've always worked, but not something we've been privy to knowing. Very interesting to know. So they only do 2 checks. So one at the start and one at the end. Nothing in the middle. So in the past, when they smoked for 15 seconds, there was 15 seconds between both checks. So if you missed the first check, if the ghost was outside of your area, and then the ghost caught up to you during the hunt, the smudge stick would not help you in that regard. So now that that's been reduced to 6 seconds, the 2 checks for the smudge stick are within a shorter period of time. So essentially they've been buffed to help you during hunts. The downside of this is that you can't smudge them as easily in big rooms. Think of the basketball court in high school, for example, or the cafeteria in prison, just 2 examples. One way to maybe get around this, what I was thinking of, is maybe to finally have a use for infrared sensors or even motion, make them a bit more useful. Maybe let the sensors ping, you know the ghost is nearby, light the smudge instantly. Maybe sensors are now more useful in that regard to help you smudge big rooms. We'll have to do some experimenting with that, but we'll see. But smudge sticks are now definitely more useful during hunts at repelling the ghost, because the 2 checks that happen at the start and at the end of lighting the smudge and it burning out now happen closer together. For the next change, the ghost will now walk to the front of the closet or locker if it sees or hears you inside, rather than walking past. So they're trying to make them a little bit more dangerous again, make the AI a little bit more smarter in that regard. So I'm a fan of that. I love the change of Willow moving away from lockers and closets, focusing more on hiding behind furniture for reasons previously stated. If you are still using lockers and closets, I would advise trying to break line of sight before you go in so that they don't come up to the door and try and open it. And make sure you stay quiet so that they can't hear you inside. Next up, if you fall out of the map or go out of bounds, you will now be teleported to the last place you were instead of back to the truck. Next, the high school top and bottom floor corridors have now been split into 3 sections each. This will make evidence be more accurate to where the ghost is, so we all hate those dreaded hallway ghosts, let's face it. High school was a complete pain in the arse. Used to go around the whole map if you got a hallway ghost. So very, very, very welcome change. Unfortunately, I have yet to experience this change though. I've not had a hallway ghost to test this, but I'm looking forward to finding one still. Just really going to help. The ones that were difficult in particular was looking for ghost orbs, EMF 5 and ghost writing, just really difficult to judge where you needed to place them. Maybe sensors can still help you again in that regard, but now that they're split into smaller sections, that should really help. I do wonder if that's going to increase the chance of the hallway being the ghost room now that it's split into separate rooms as well. Very interesting. If this works well, I would love to see this ported over to Asylum, because Asylum has similar issues with hallways. But yes, fantastic change. Just looking forward to testing it. Next up, the truck has been moved closer to the entrance on prison. Yep, it is quite a bit closer. Shorten that walk a little bit. Very short walk of shame now, if you should forget the key. I never do that. Never. Never at all, I promise. Next up, kick players will now be automatically kicked when they rejoin. Yep, fantastic. The ghost now has a small chance to wander far from its room. Okay, now this is interesting. Small chance? I feel like it's been more than a small chance playing over the last week. I feel like my ghosts in general have been wandering a fair amount. which is actually a good thing in my opinion. I've had to be a bit more switched on in regards to gathering evidence, searching the nearby vicinity as well as the ghost room. Also, the ghosts have been spawning outside of the ghost room sometimes during hunts, like in the neighbouring room, which has really caught me off guard. Love the change though. Don't know if it's meant to be as frequent as it has been for me at the moment, but honestly, really interesting changes. You have to be more switched on. Like I said, when you approach both gathering evidence and hunts, you never feel as truly safe anymore, which is fantastic. It is a horror game after all. Lovely change in my opinion. Next up, slightly increase the demon's chance to hunt. Unfortunately, my demons have been missing the last week, so I've not really got to experience or test this one. But from people that I've spoken to, they've been getting hunted above 70, some even in the mid-70s with the demon. It used to be 65, so that's gone up quite a bit now. The mare can hunt you at 60 in the dark, the demon, looking at now mid-70s. So there's a bit of a gap between them now, should help to identify them a bit more easily based off your sanity. Still though, in my opinion, the demon still does feel a bit more like an inconvenience than a threat, because it doesn't really have anything to help it during a hunt. It can just start hunts a little bit earlier. Personally, I feel like the demon should really instill fear into you when you know you're dealing with a demon. It is called the demon, after all. Personally, a change that I think would be cool for the demon is maybe if it kills someone during a hunt, it carries on hunting. The hunt gets extended. I feel like that would really instill fear into everyone when you lose someone and you realise the hunt's still going. And I feel like that would be very fitting for a demon. Next up, they increase the size of the text on the thermometer display. So the main purpose of this change is to make it a bit more readable in VR, because small text is really difficult in VR. I used to have to bring the thermo close to my face myself, so very welcome change. Next, change how the alternative ports value is saved. This means that you will have to enable it again if you had it enabled before. For the next two changes, these are very interesting. These are related to the ghost and their behaviour. So they've increased the ghost chance to open or close a door when it's not hunting, and they've also increased the ghost chance to interact with objects. I've played quite a few games since. I've not noticed a massive difference, but I've not played enough games to get a good judge of this, but I feel like this could really help on bigger maps in particular, like Asylum and High School, where there's not much for the ghost to do apart from doors or maybe the odd phone. Sometimes just doors, depending on what room they're in. And sometimes if you get a really big room or a shy ghost that's just quite inactive, they just don't do them, and you have no audio cues. So I'm hoping this is going to help give those... I'm hoping it's going to really help on those maps in particular, where we need those audio cues to guide us in a direction. And finally, for the changes, they flipped the High School and Asylum truck maps to make them less confusing to navigate. Yep, very welcome change. Left is now left and right is now right. I will say no more. That's it for the changes. Let's move on to the bug fixes. So first of all, improve the performance and load times on most house maps. Fixed a bug where player voices would sometimes go high pitch, or our favourite bug, eh? Although I did have it on the beta branch once after it was supposedly fixed, where we did hear it still, so it might still be here. High School, fixed a bug where sound sensors showed the wrong corridor names. Fixed a bug where equipment didn't teleport back to the truck if they fell out of bounds. Fixed a bug where the ghost was changing the temperature in the wrong room. Okay, that's a big one. That was one that played a lot of maps. Tanglewood in particular for me. I often had reverse temperatures with the dining room and kitchen. The basement and living room was another one. Or you'd have it where one of them was warm, one of them was cold at some point, and later that would reverse in the mission. So the temperatures were definitely in a bit of a weird state before this update. I am pleased to say they seem to be functioning a lot better since the update. After doing a lot of testing, most of the Tanglewood issues seem fixed as well. Seems to be normal now. They seem to be appearing in the right room and staying in the right room. So the thermo is now a bit more viable again, which is good. Fantastic change. Next up, fixed a bug where new players would have their volume set to the old player's volume. Fixed a bug where the ghost couldn't kill you in some closets. Fixed several safe spots, some that stand out to me. The toilets on Grafton and Bleasdale, they used to be very safe. You don't collide with the toilet seats anymore, so basically the ghost can just see straight through them. Apart from that, I didn't really delve into many other safe spots, not really my style. So I'm not exactly sure which ones they fixed, but yes, probably don't trust ones that you used to use if you used to use them. Fixed a bug where players would still show in the audio options after they have left. Fixed a bug where the resolution would sometimes be set very low when launching for the first time. Fixed a bug where sensors could be placed on walls behind other objects. Fixed a bug where the ghost was never wandering outside of its room. Interesting, wasn't aware of that one. Well, the ghosts are going to be wandering now more than ever, to be honest. With that bug fix and the changes to make the ghosts have an increased chance of wandering, yeah, I'm feeling it. Lots of wanderers. You got to be on the ball, looking for evidence nearby. The box is not just an instant response anymore, I found. You might have to try nearby, listen for footsteps, try and get sensor readings, and then try it that way. So overall, enjoying this change. And like I said earlier, I'll reiterate, makes hunts more interesting. They might not spawn where you expect, but they will still spawn nearby to keep it fair. That's what I've found so far. So you've just got to be switched on a little bit more. And maybe sensors will help with some of this as well in terms of getting evidence in particular areas. So I would love it if the sensors had more of a use, so maybe now is their time to shine. Next up, fixed a bug where the EMF reader would still show a value if you picked it up from the floor into your inventory. They fixed a bug where the smudge stick could not be lit with a candle. Great. They fixed a bug where the thermometer would sometimes still show values for the wrong room. So again, tying into the one from earlier, the thermometer is a lot more viable, a lot more stable these days. If it's something you used to use in the past, but stopped due to issues, I do recommend picking it up again. You'll probably get some good use out of it. And finally, that's all for the bug fixes. So that's a good array of bug fixes there. Just a last little note, the new ghosts will still have a 3 times higher spawn rate until the next update. Personally, I feel like that would have been good to keep on the beta, but maybe not to bring over to the live branch, because I feel like they might have lost their novelty for a lot of people. I feel like people might have done the testing that they've needed to, and a lot of what keeps Phasmophobia replayable is the unpredictability during the mission. Not knowing what ghosts you're going to get, not knowing how they're going to behave, and stuff like that. So having the new ghost types still spawning really frequently might lose its novelty fast, I feel, and take away some of the fun and replayability from the game. I hope that's not going to be present for too long, but we shall see. We shall see. And finally, if you experience any issues or want to give feedback, they've recommended that you join their Discord. Again, I'll put the link in the description for you. So that's the update in a nutshell. Very big announcement. Dev team's being expanded. Can't wait to see what they're going to work on in the future. Big respect to DK for everything they've done so far as well. And a really good update in general. 2 new ghost types, a new map, a whole plethora of decent changes, optimizations, bug fixes. Just a really solid update overall. And it was a very quick turnaround from the beta to the live branch update this time. Only a week, which is absolutely insane. Very smooth update. But yes, hope you're enjoying the update anyway. Do let me know what your favourite thing about this update has been so far. What are you looking forward to the most for Phasmophobia going forward? Take care of yourselves, and I will catch you all soon.